Are you using Notion or want to use Notion for your journaling, but know that you need something simple to get started? Well, I've got a great tutorial walking you through setting up a very simple setup to get you journaling consistently in Notion. And from that kind of simple starting point, you can take that and add all sorts of fun things to it. So stay tuned. We're going to jump into screen share and get going on that right now. Okay, so as promised, we're going to get into a really simple setup, and I just want to reiterate, I will probably say this a few times, that this is meant to be simple on purpose. You can add bells and whistles to it. There's people with some amazing templates. You can add a lot of automation or complexities and tagging and this and that to it, but if you want to get started journaling and you don't have a lot of familiarity with Notion, and you're watching this video because you're like, I want to either use Notion or I've just gotten started and I want to use it, then please start simple and then add to it over time. That saves you from investing all this time and effort and building something that you end up either not using because it doesn't work right, or finding out that you want to change it when the goal is to just be journaling, because you'll get the benefits from journaling by journaling, not from doing all the setup or having the coolest database with all the right emojis. So I will say, as a caveat to that, I understand that form can help function in terms of how you use it, and I'm not telling you that things have to be ugly, but just that remember you're journaling to journal, and don't get too hung up on how it looks, and you can always improve that over time, but the main goal is to be doing journaling. So let's jump into it. Like I said, I want to keep it simple. All I've done is create a new page, and I have just in this case called it Journal Example. You may want to call it, if I was doing this for myself, I might call it Adam's Daily Journal, something like that. Just something simple and that helps me remember it. Right up at top, I think this can be helpful just to put some bullet points. What are some things that help you? And again, you can leave this out, but generally we have something. What if you're new to journaling, maybe you want to remind yourself, to do this every day and don't skip it, but don't worry about it. Like don't sweat the small stuff, just right. And then maybe, a famous quote or two, something that gets you thinking. Okay, if you have other things, you can of course do that. There's a lot of formatting in Notion, but again, we're here to keep it simple, so that's what we're going to do. What I would do is to create a database. Now, when you pull that up or type it in, you have a lot of options. You can see it on the page. You could have a full page, but that's going to create it as a subpage, which means you have to click and go somewhere else. We don't want to do that. And there's a bunch of different views. Okay. What I'm going to do, because this kind of comes with it anyways, and what I mean by that is when you create a database, you basically get different views, and I'll show you that in a minute. We're just going to start with a plain old database. Okay, so name, you cannot really do anything with this right here. You can change it, but basically it's like an ID for identifying everything in the database. If you're familiar with databases or data structures in general, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you are not familiar with this, just believe me when I say that you need it, and it's a way to identify basically unique items, and there's stuff going on behind the scenes. We're going to move some things around and add to it, and then we'll kind of go from there. So we should give it a new name. For this, for example, I would call this like Adams, or I'll just call this my daily journal entries. And this time I'll spell it correctly. And I'm going to move things around. You can click and drag these properties around or add a property after you do that. I'm going to put in today's date, and that will make, whoops, I did not do that correctly. Did I change type? Let's go to date. And I guess I did, sorry about that. Do we have it? We have it as date. And then let me see what else I want to do. I think I want to put that over here. And I don't want to call it a number, I want to call it date. I believe I may have done something wrong there. Okay, so this is where this can get a little confusing if you use this layout. So let me show you a couple different ways of looking at things, and we'll kind of compare and contrast. So what I might do with this is to have a different timeline and a different view, and to see it as a calendar. Okay, and if I do that, then I have a couple things that I can do. I can click and add an item and call it, like today's journal entry. And I could also just come in here and type in my journal entry, and I have today's date in there. That's really handy. Now, what happens if I come in here? It's on today, or that day's date already. I give it, tomorrow's journal entry, and I can type some things in there. So that's handy if you like this kind of chronological calendar view. It's very easy to see if you've been missing days, if you've been hitting days. There are some kind of, I'll call them for our purposes here today, some advanced ways to show more information. Like you could add some tags or some properties and have them show on this view. If you're interested in that, leave a comment, but it's not needed for this kind of basic stuff. But as you can see, you can't really see a whole lot. So it's up to you. If you want something that in one view you can really review a lot and see your entries, then calendar may not be the best for you, but it is a little bit more, I'll say, aesthetically pleasing. And you can pop that open and go to work on it. I will show you one more thing you can do, and then we'll go back to the table view and explain why that might work better for you. You see new over here. If you just click that, it's going to open up a new page. You can give it a title, you fill out the date, do whatever you want, that's fine. But there's nothing there, right? So what if we want to use a template? Because basically, if we want to journal, there might be things we want to answer, like a prompt. There might be certain things we do. We may just call it the same thing every day, like the title of the journal entry doesn't matter so much maybe, but it's what's in there. So let's go in here and see what we can do. When you have a new database, you have no templates, but you can create a new one. And we're just going to call this, my daily journal. Okay, and that means that every time you use this template, that's what it's going to say. And then date, you can click on today. So the date when duplicated, basically saying when you make it, it's going to do like you saw earlier, and it's going to give it a date of whatever today is. And then we could add in, this is just a very bare bones example, but let's say we wanted to have what are 2 things I'm grateful for, and what's another good prompt? We'll go with what is going well. Okay, and we're just going to start with those, and I'm going to go ahead and indent, and I'm going to add one more, open writing anything goes for 3 minutes. And we have that, and I'll delete that just as a placeholder. Okay, so now when I close that, what I can do now is instead of just clicking new or clicking the plus on a day, I can come in here and click on my daily journal, and great, it gets today's date. And I've already got all this written in there as a reminder. I don't have to think about it, and I can just come in here and start writing, for example, say good coffee and going on walks with my wife on the rec trail. What is going well? Okay, just filling it out so we see it in there. Okay, so all very nice, very handy. If that is something that you like or you think would work for you, I would just start there, go with that. I'm going to hop back into the table and show you where some changes might be helpful, and how that would work and what you might want to do. So right now we're looking at the same thing. Again, this is just 2 different views of the exact same database. We're looking at it calendar, we're looking at it as a table. And we see that on July 9th we have 2 entries. I am going to actually go ahead and delete this one. And we're going to delete that blank one that it came with. And now we see we just have these 2. And if we want to read the journal entry, we actually need to open it, and we can open it up in the side peek and see that. If you want to do that, that's fine. So that's what it looks like. So what else could we do? Well, we could add a property, and we could add a text property and let's call it the journal entry. Now, that's blank here, but let's say I wrote something. I'm going to copy something off of my notepad, and we are going to pop it in here. So let's go ahead and write that in here. And I see I cut that off. So already we can see, now that could be handy because we could be now seeing it. And if you want to have more of a list, a table view where you can see things, that could be handy, and we could move that over and we could expand that so that if you're writing quite a bit, you could see that. So let's open this up and see what this looks like. Okay, you can see here that journal entry is a field. So it appears up here it's a property, and this may or may not work for you. If you're doing some brief journaling, I think that this could be workable, but it's not something where you're going to have the formatting like this. You're not going to be able to really templatize it, and it might be better for something like, how am I feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Or, how am I feeling today in terms of, like smiley emojis, so that you could see that over time and you could look at a list and say, oh, okay, wow, I can really see in, late June, I wasn't feeling very good. Let me maybe go back when I do my review and look at that. So there's a couple different ways to use that, and I'll leave it up to you what you feel better about. If we go back into the calendar and we open this and look at it, again, it shows the same sort of page. And then we can just go from there, and you can delete properties, move this all around, do what you need to do. I just wanted to show you quickly how to get started, and then again, if you want more information on how to kind of maybe automate more or add more to this, leave a comment below. Happy to share it, but I think that this is a great starting point to get you going in Notion to start your journaling. The only thing I will add to this is I would take the URL to this page and save it somewhere, either in your browser bookmark, save it in your calendar if you set aside time for this, and make it so it's one click and you just go in there and you can start writing your journaling, because a lot of this is making it smooth, making it easy and simple so that you get in there and do the journaling. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know and I'll get back to you.